Everybody, it is Michael from GetFitOver40.com. I'm sure you already know that. Today we're going to talk about TRT in Canada versus the US, or US versus Canada, how they differentiate some of the things that may be good or bad with either one, so some pros and cons with each, some limitations, things like that. Now, I'm Canadian based, so I know more about what's going on here in Canada in terms of TRT since I live here and I have my doctor here and all of that kind of stuff. And I know about, the TRT clinics in Canada versus the US. Now, I also know, I would say enough to talk about this because I have been in communication with a company called Royal Medical Center out of the US. They're probably one of the more popular TRT clinics. They're very reputable, and I will put a link in the description. There'll probably be some sort of link where you can actually save a little bit of money if you do decide to look further into TRT and you want to investigate what they have to offer. There is a coupon code that you can use that saves you a little bit of money each month, at least for the first 6 months. Okay, so that's something to get you started. And I think after 6 months, you'll pretty much know if you like them, if it's working for you, all of that. So I'm not a specialist or anything like that, but I am going to just give you what I know, what I understand the differences are between Canada and the US. And at this point, I am going to put on my readers. It's an, an older channel. Definitely once you hit 50. I didn't really need these readers until basically about a couple months ago. My prescription got bumped up in my lenses, my contact lenses. And at that point, it was like, okay, it's getting a little too hard to read close up. So these guys really help. Anyways, let's talk about TRT in Canada. I'm going to do some reading because I've spent quite a bit of time going over this. I created a little post over on the Get Fit Over website. So pretty much what I'm going to read to you is written there. So if you prefer to read stuff, if you feel you absorb it better when you read it versus hear it, then go over there and I'll put a link in the description. You can read this exact same pretty much message. Okay, so TRT in Canada. In Canada, there are TRT clinics. Well, sort of. These are simply what I would call more specialized doctors that focus on TRT for both men and women. So it's not just a man thing. But you will need to jump through some, the Canadian medical system hoops of first getting tested. So you got to get your blood work done. And it's really probably the best start for any type of TRT treatment that you're going to go on. You're going to want to get your blood tested. Then if your blood work determines you are not in a normal range of testosterone for your age and sex, so below the normal limitations, if you're higher, probably it's a good thing, and they're not going to be able to put you on TRT if your levels are already above normal, right? Obviously. So then if they are below normal, then you can proceed to a doctor consult where a TRT plan is initiated. Now keep in mind, if you are right on the cusp of falling below the normal range, but not actually in it, so you're right on that threshold, here's low, and you're just like, right here, right? So if that's you, then basically the Canadian TRT clinics they're not going to be able to do anything for you because even the TRT, if you have the low symptoms and everything, but you're like right there, they're still not going to be able to help you because our medical system only allows for a basically TRT protocol program for anyone that's below the normal range. So just a hair above, so sorry, you're not going to get your paid for medical. Yes, it is paid for, so that's kind of cool. Now, with the TRT clinic, though, there's generally going to be a little bit of a catch. Even in Canada, you're going to pay a little bit more going through a TRT specialized doctor clinic because they're more of a business, I guess you'd say. But it's not that expensive. You probably will get charged a little bit for blood work, even though it is covered if you go through medical through your family doctor. And you will probably have some fees throughout the year for their specific services because they're specialists. Okay, so it's a little different than a family doctor. So what about the totally free version of this? So we do have that option in Canada since we have a free Canada-wide medical system, which can work great for some qualified TRT patients. So I say qualified. Again, you have to be qualified. You have to be below that range. You can simply go to your family doctor and ask for blood work to determine if you have low testosterone. And depending on the doctor, they can also prescribe a TRT treatment for you. But this is a real hit and miss situation, as most family doctors, they're not generally trained out of medical school in this area, and a lot of them aren't that comfortable prescribing TRT option. So they're just, I would say more and more doctors are getting on board over time. This is something that's sort of, become more mainstream over the last, say 5 years. It really wasn't a thing. Most doctors would kind of shy away from anything to do with TRT, but some are getting more on board. So like I said, it is kind of hit and miss, but a lot of them, they're going to be really conservative with your TRT dose, which in a lot of cases just might not be enough. So if they can get you into the mid ranges, which sounds good on paper, but for some guys, it's just not enough. So if you were like just below and they get you to the mid ranges, it might not put you in a high enough area. Your body, even though the levels are higher, everybody's different, and that might not do what you need in terms of symptoms. It might not help you with your symptoms. But that's all they're going to do, right? They're going to be very conservative, especially your family doctor. Now, I'm generalizing here, but in most cases, that's what's going to happen. There may be some doctors who are a little bit more progressive that may go, okay, yeah, I get it. We can get you up a little higher. Let's try putting you up a little higher, see if that helps. All right, let's see what we're going on here. So what if you're low on testosterone, but not enough, and you have all the classic low testosterone symptoms? So you're still in the normal ranges, but you're low, or you're in the mid ranges, and you still have like low TRT symptoms, and you're pretty sure something's going on with the testosterone. It's just not working as well. Maybe your free testosterone isn't enough. And oftentimes when you do get your blood work here in Canada, they don't test free testosterone. They just test your overall testosterone. And sometimes that's the problem, but they won't do it. So you can encourage your doctor to test I would encourage them to test a lot of things, and you can get that. You just have to be a little bit more, affirmative and say, I want my free testosterone, I want my estrogen, I want my thyroid. You can get that all done. You just have to be really firm with your doctor and be adamant about it. And, you're going in for the blood work anyway, so you might as well get it all done. It's more information to go on. Hopefully the doctor knows how to analyze that information and come up with a strategy. Now, keep in mind, I'm not encouraging anyone to do anything illegal or conduct in any shady affairs. I'm only offering up information on this subject. So, obviously work with your doctor. Don't do anything stupid. Now, since buying, owning, and purchasing testosterone in Canada is fully legal, you can source out your own testosterone, so you don't need a prescription to have it, own it, buy it. Not illegal. Any steroid technically is not illegal to buy, own. The problem is that it's illegal to sell testosterone, which is kind of the catch, right? You can do all these things, buy, you can own, you can use, you just can't sell it. That's the illegal part. So how do you get it? Well, that's something you're going to have to look into. I'm not here to coach you on any of that, but if you do a little bit of internet searching, go on some bodybuilding forums, all that kind of stuff. There are some underground labs, so they're not registered pharmacies, that do sell testosterone and other hormone products. Call it the gray market, if you will. It's not that hard to get. Relatively the same price as pharmaceutical grade products, but the problem is, because it's not a regulated pharmacy, it's a little, again, hit and miss, and you're not really sure of the quality. Testosterone is not hard to make. It's one of those substances that I believe most of these companies are putting adequate amounts, or what they're advertising is what you're probably getting. I can't guarantee that again, but again, testosterone is not that expensive to make, and I think they're going to want you to be happy with the product at the end of the day, or you're not going to keep ordering it through them. And if you are working with a doctor, right, they're going to know whether or not this testosterone that you're purchasing, right, is working or not. So that would be a good indicator. Okay, so in other words, if you happen to source out your own testosterone and then go see your doctor for blood work, your doctor's obligation is to keep you healthy, and not make judgments on your conduct. Same would be true for smoking, drinking too much, poor diet, being overweight, not getting enough exercise. They're obviously going to tell you if this is a concern, but they can't make you. They're not there to judge you. They're there to basically help you and do whatever they can on their end to keep your health in order. Obviously, they're going to prescribe medications if you're not taking care of your health, to try to offset that. In this case, they're going to work with you with your testosterone levels, and not necessarily prescribe you medications for them, but at least keep you advised. Again, your doctor's job is to advise and help you stay healthy, and so they are required to set up blood work and monitor your testosterone levels and help you stay healthy in the healthy ranges, even if your doctor is not prescribing you supplied testosterone. So don't feel like you're doing something super taboo and you should just keep it hush hush, and don't go to your doctor because they're going to judge you. No, go to your doctor, be honest with them, tell them exactly what you're taking, how much, and go get your blood work done. And then your doctor can work with you to get you into the more or less TRT ranges. Now, because you're self-administering it, you have a little bit more control of what ranges you're going to be in. You can say to your doctor, I want to be at the high norms. Let's figure out how to get there. And your doctor will do that. Obviously, if you're asking him to get you into the super physiological regions, he's probably going to advise against that. And but he will help you. Even so, even if you're trying to boost your testosterone way above where it should be, he will still advise you and probably check things like your obviously keep in mind blood pressure, red blood cell count, estrogen levels going off the map, things like that. So he's gonna want to check you for more things to try to keep you healthy. Okay, so it's a good idea to work with a doctor no matter what your plan is. So make sure to do that. Okay, let's see where I'm at here. I missed some stuff. Okay, so the cost of actual testosterone outside of a registered pharmacy is relatively inexpensive. So, for example, you can buy a 10 mil. So, like, let's say the reason I'm bringing this up is because if you're not going to get covered by the medical because you're not outside the normal ranges and your doctor isn't prescribing it, in Canada it would be all covered. If you're not that person, then it's not expensive. And this is my example. You can buy a 10 mil bottle of 400 milligram per mil testosterone blend. So it's actually a blend. For instance, you can buy it in 200 milligram per mil. You can buy it in 250. You can buy it in 400. Probably the most economical version would be the 400 mil because you're getting 400 milligrams per mil versus say 200. So it's going to go twice as far. So you can use, say, if you're shooting at a higher TRT dose of 200 with a 400 mil, you can do 400 milligram per mil. You can do half a mil, and that'll give you 20 shots. Okay, so for about $100 roughly, that's how much a 400 milligram per mil with 10 mil bottle would cost roughly. I'm just giving you ballpark figures here. That's going to be a 20-week supply. Okay, so that's going to cost you around $20 to $25 a month. That's probably cheaper than your protein, your creatine, a lot of other supplements and vitamins you're taking. Probably just some of those, not even all of those, just maybe your protein. Now you might, depending on your dose, you might have to also purchase an anti-estrogen pill of some sort of anti-estrogen or sort of an AI medication. And there's a bunch of them out there, so you're going to have to do your own research on that, maybe talk with your doctor. But if you're staying within the normal ranges, oftentimes you won't even need anything else other than the testosterone. It's when you start getting up over the high norms that you really have to start worrying about your estrogen levels, because you do need them. You don't want to crush them. They kind of need to match your testosterone. So if your testosterone is on the lower side, then you probably want your estrogen a little bit on the lower side, sort of matching up with the testosterone. If your testosterone is in the high norms, like right near the top, then it's okay if your estrogen is near the top of those normal ranges, as long as it's not way out of balance with your testosterone. So you're going to find that when you raise your testosterone, your estrogen will raise a little bit. It does, and that's one reason why there's a little bit more water retention. That's just going to happen. It's kind of like you need it. It is almost healthy as long as your blood pressure isn't raising too much. And that's, again, something you need to check with your doctor, right? All right, so how does TRT work in the US? So first of all, the legalities are much different in the US when it comes to any steroid, including testosterone. Outside of a doctor's prescription, they are illegal to buy, sell, own, and use. Now, I'm sure, same as in Canada, you can take a similar family doctor approach. So in the US, you could go see your family doctor, and understanding that they would do blood work, of course, they do all the medications, but I don't believe it'll be covered in the US unless you have a special plan. So you're going to have to pay for the blood work. You're going to have to pay for the prescription. But you would go through your doctor. And again, your doctor may not be as informed as a TRT clinic. So we'll get into the TRT clinics because that's another very popular option, is using a reputable TRT clinic like the Royal Medical Center, the one that I'll put a link in the description so you can save a little bit of money there. Now, they generally offer more of a flat rate payment system where you are charged a certain amount each month, and this includes all your TRT treatments, drugs that are usually shipped to your residence, and they're usually shipped for free, and any ongoing blood work and consultations is all covered in your monthly fee. The first consultation may cost you something. So your first blood work draw and your first consultation may cost you something because, at that point you haven't invested with them so much. You're not paying a monthly fee, but a lot of times if you pay, say, X amount to get your blood work and first consultation, they may offset that into the payments that you pay later on. So say they may offset that into your first month's payment. Okay, so keep that in mind if you proceed and move forward with that company. Now, TRT clinics in the US have very specialized doctors that are knowledgeable in hormone replacement therapy, similar to Canada. If you do use a TRT clinic in Canada, they not only look at the blood work, but also your symptoms, since blood work only tells half the story. And since every human is different, there isn't a one-size-fits-all testosterone range for everybody. That's super important. So some people can function perfectly normal with very low testosterone levels, while others, even at higher levels, struggle with low TRT symptoms. And that's the problem in Canada. It's all based on the blood work and not based on, the symptoms or how people feel or how people are managing with their testosterone. Now, the downside is this can become more of a business and less of a practice, since TRT clinics, they make most of their income from having long-term clients. So if they basically test everybody and say, no, we can't help you because your TRT just isn't low enough, then they're not going to be able to run their business because there's just not enough clients to keep that business running. So in effect, they could be looking for any reason to proceed with the TRT treatment when perhaps there are other options available. So why send the person to another place to potentially have another way of getting their testosterone up a little bit into the normal ranges when they can maybe do something and help them and have a customer or client? That said, most reputable TRT clinics ultimately want the best outcome for their patients, okay? So I do feel that most of these TRT clinics are going to do the right thing. They are going to help you. They're probably going to be able to do way more for you than any other way of trying to get your testosterone up and make you feel better. So keep that in mind. All right, that's kind of it. I think I've covered everything. I'm hoping this has been informative, right? Talking about some of the shortcomings with Canada and the US. There's definitely a little bit, on either side. In terms of Canada, we have the ability to have it all covered for free with our medical system. The downside is that, you have to have the blood work that corresponds with it, and whether you feel good or bad doesn't really matter, doesn't become part of the issue. Whereas in the States, blood work is a factor, but it's not the only condition on whether or not you can get TRT prescribed. Yes, it will probably cost you more at the end of the day, but in terms of quality of life for the cost of being on TRT and being able to improve your quality of life and your health and feel better and all of those things, when you do have a serious medical condition, because low testosterone can be a serious medical condition. It can be, it can actually, some people will say that, having really low testosterone versus a little high testosterone, one could be worse than the other. And that's true, right? You have to do your own research, but having really low testosterone can also have negative effects as well long-term with your health. All right, that wraps it up. Thanks for watching another GetFitOver40.com video. We'll take these readers off. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.